What's up, folks? This is Tony Brewer and Aaron Dotson. We are back. Sorry we're a little bit late. We were doing some stuff before the show that we couldn't do until we hit the live. And looks like Aaron is here. Good to see you. Looks like Aaron is using a hat. I decided to start doing a hat because I got some crazy lighting in this office that's right above me. And even when I rearranged my office, it's still going to be right above me. So the easiest thing to do is just put a hat on.
Well, I
And
always wear a hat unless I'm in worship service, and I always take it off for the show. You had one on, so I put it on. Way to go.
that's it. There you go. Well, I was going to say monkey see, monkey do, but that might be a little insulting. I did not mean it that way. So my mama, anytime somebody do something somebody else does, monkey say, monkey do.
Right, exactly.
Like, all right, well, no, this is the way we normally look. It's just we took the hat off, or I took the hat off for the show, so Aaron followed suit.
Yep.
All right, guys. Good morning, Angie B, Terry Crooks, Jason Goldtrap. Good morning to you. We've got folks rolling in. I'm always impressed whenever we're not diligent. Well, diligent's not the right word. Consistent. Whenever we're not consistent putting out content, it gets people out of the habit of watching. And when you do something 2 or 3 times, you got to rebuild that habit. You create a habit. So if you watch 2 or 3 days in a row, you're probably going to watch 4 or 5. And if you don't watch for 2 or 3 days in a row, it's probably going to take you that many days to come back if you even remember to do it. So it's a little bit of a risk taking breaks.
Yeah.
All right, look, I want to talk about some stuff, Aaron, and I'm going to use you to kind of bounce back and forth. I want to see people show us having a dialogue.
And put it on me.
We have an issue in our society. We have no moral compass. The first step, I would be curious. Now, when I say the first step, obviously I don't have any special knowledge. I'm not God. I'm not even particularly well studied in some of this. So when I say, well, the first step, what I mean is when I'm thinking back, the first time I notice, okay, the first step I see, that may not be the actual first step, but it's the first step I see. And I think the first step that I see into getting to this stage that our society is in, now that I've said it out loud, though, I think I would go all the way back to Romans 1 and an attitude of gratitude. But that's biblical. That can't be even discussed. That just is what it is. A denial of absolute truth, which I think is born out of a lack of gratitude to the truth himself, the lawgiver. But so let's give. We have a society that's not grateful. Well, then what's next? If you're not grateful, you're going to be resentful whenever reality asserts itself and impedes on your indulgences.
Yeah, whenever you don't get what you want.
Exactly. So then the only way to cope is to say, well, who can really know the truth? And I think the first step then, a case can be made that the first major deviation besides a lack of an attitude of gratitude, being ungrateful, would be saying, well, who can know what truth is anyway?
Skepticism.
There's that.
Yeah.
Do what?
Skepticism.
Yeah. Skepticism ain't. I don't know if there's a capital S skepticism.
Yeah.
But the word skepticism, like, we need skeptics. So I don't know if there's a capital S skepticism
Maybe a
that
little
means
bit more. Maybe a little bit more toward the agnostic type.
Yeah. Yeah. People, I mean, we need skeptics. I don't, you don't need to be so open-minded your brain falls out. But there may be there's deism, there's theism. There could be a skepticism where you're a capital S skeptic and you don't even believe that this computer is in front of me. Well,
Yeah.
the computer's got to be in front of you because you're broadcasting. Yeah, but how do you know you're not imagining it? I mean, you
All
can
illusion.
Yeah, there was an episode of Young Sheldon where young Sheldon met the philosophy teacher at his local college, and she turned the poor old boy. He was like 11 or 12. She turned him on his ear. You know, he's math. Math is 2 and 2 are 4. 2 and 2 are not 4.1. 2 and 2 are not 3.9. Any deviation from the number 4 that you do not solve the problem.
Straight black and white.
That's it. And Sheldon's mind could comprehend that, but whenever he met the philosophy teacher, it was just like, nah, no, no, no. And he questions his whole existence. So that's good in a little bit of way, but we have to understand that you can get so absurd. Well, Aaron, how do I know that you're real?
Right. How do I know
Well,
it's not just all in my head?
yeah, well, because quite frankly, I don't have enough of an imagination to think all this junk up. I don't think.
Right.
Well, you said I don't think, so how can you know for sure? Okay, so if the level of illusion is that great, then we're just caught.
Yeah.
Like there's no way to do anything different.
Right.
You know? Oh, Scott Beck. Hey, what is that hat, Aaron? That's some kind of hockey blues, isn't it?
That's right. That's right. St. Louis Blues.
St. Louis Blues. Okay.
Yep.
I bought this hat in 2020. It's not supposed to exist. It was for the opening season in the stadium where the Blue Jays play. I can't remember what the stadium's called. Ain't it terrible? I lived in Toronto for almost a year. But it was for the opening day 2020. There was no 2020 season. They were supposed to scrap all these hats, but a few of the lids chains, the franchises around,
Put them out.
they had some, and they put them out instead of sending them back. And
They got a special 2020 edition.
yeah, well, this is a size 8.
That's your
What size is yours?
I don't. Mine's adjustable. It's not fitted.
Oh, yours not okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta wear adjustable hats. My head is so big.
Yep.
Like 8. Okay, my head was. People were talking about how big my head was when I was wearing a size 7 1/4.
Yeah.
I wear I wear 8 now. Anyway, all of that. Hello, everybody. Good to see everybody. Mitch Sparks is here. So, it may be a slow podcast getting in, but this has bothered me, the response of this shooting. And like, for instance, these memes that our society have put out. And you've got to understand, folks, about, hold on a second. I'm going to pull this up so we can see it. First off, I want to move tab to a new window. That's what I want to do. I'll get this straight in a minute, folks. Good morning, Connie Barton. It's good to see you. All right, so we're going to allow to share window. No, I don't want to share this window. I want to share another window. No, I want to share screen. I don't want to share the entire screen. This is weird.
You're changing things up.
Oh, okay. Wait a second. I think now I'm still not going to share the. No, this is nuts. So this may be better, but I'm just too ignorant to use it. So I've got a new computer that, quite frankly, is a powerhouse. Now, share this window. Boom. So I shared this meme. Culver's wouldn't have snitched. Now think about the implications of this statement. But first off, think about the nature of memes. Have you ever thought about what the word meme is short for? The word meme is short for mimetic. The word mimetic was coined by Richard Dawkins. You have to trace this back to figure out what it means. Basically, a meme is something that mimics reality, something that is not real, that mimics what is real.
Okay.
something that is not real, that we can really understand and are familiar with, that mimics something more abstract. And you can look at the memes a society produces, and you can tell something about that society. Culver's did not produce this meme. Yes, Goldtrap, we know. We know Culver's did not make that meme. Burger King didn't make the one that is about them. These fast food restaurants have memes that are, well, Burger King, Culver's, or whatever. But you have to understand what this means about our society. Our society is okay with the vigilante justice, which is no justice at all, the murder of an innocent man. And when you say something like, well, he was an innocent man, and people say, well, how many did he murder because he was healthcare CEO? Well, you need to read the Bible. You're innocent until you're proven guilty. So just because, even if I concede, even if I say, well, for the sake of argument, yes, insurance companies actually kill people. That CEO didn't until it's proven that he did.
Right.
But here's the thing. Insurance companies and doctors and the medical system in the United States don't kill people. Nobody dies because of a neglect from the insurance company. People die because of the neglect of the person who is sick and the neglect of their caretakers around them.
Yeah.
The insurance company is not an advocate on your behalf. They don't love you. The insurance company is Walmart for hospitals.
Yeah.
The insurance company wants to make money. The more stuff that they give you for your premium, the less money they make. Why is this surprising to anybody? If the insurance companies weren't set up the way they're set up, nobody would be able to afford health care. I don't understand the problem. These people aren't grateful.
Yeah.
And of course, you don't have a response to these memes that are going around from people who are like, well, this is evil, this is dirty, I don't want to live in a society that extols the virtue of thumbcocking some man and cowardly shooting him in the back. I'd have more respect for this fool Luigi if he would at least called him out at high noon and drawn on him.
Yeah.
But from what I've understood, he shot him in the back.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I just pay attention to some of the. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen now, and I'm gonna read. Hold on. I'm gonna read I'm gonna read some of the comments. They're despicable. Let's see. Let's go to the newest. And how many have they murdered?
Yeah, people are convinced that the insurance companies are guilty of murder.
That's it.
That's the problem we're dealing with here.
Yeah. And then like this one woman, I don't think they are doing it for the reason you think they are. They are trying to get into the restaurant war that's been going on for years upon years. Stop reading into things. I'm not reading into it. In fact, if I was reading into it, I would have made a different post. I would, on the surface. Anyway, my response to her was, well, hold on, where's it at? Something jumped.
Quit
Yeah,
jumping.
right here it is. My response was, they aren't doing it. The meme is indicative of this attitude that it's okay to kill a man if he is bad enough. Oh, hold on. Culver's didn't make the meme. I don't think anybody... I don't think people are so stupid that I assume that they think this was come from Culver's. It's very insulting to tell somebody, hey, Culver's didn't make that. Like, duh.
I didn't
Sky's
say they
blue.
did. I didn't say
I
they
know.
did.
Exactly. But anyway, and so you know this woman has a heart full of judgment.
Yeah.
You're reading too much into it. Oh, no. Wait a second. And so she says, then why share if it is not made by them or Christians? I'm like, you've missed the point. You don't know what a meme is.
Yeah.
I said, because I wanted to. She says, I can tell I'm following the wrong page. I didn't even respond. But, well, bye.
Your choice.
This guy, Matt Dosser, said, you're wrong on this. This creature was a serial killer. Luigi was doing God's work.
Oh, my.
And then I just go, no, he was not. Then he says, you're teaching and this guy tells me that I'm teaching and condoning evil. God has wiped out entire civilizations for less. Might want to read your Bible instead of pushing a Joel Osteen narrative. My response was, when you create a universe, you can wipe out whomever you will. This is stupid. That's a stupid statement for you to make, is what I say. And I use the word stupid, and I don't care who finds it offensive. You know you don't know the Bible at all. Evidently, that statement proved it. And he calls me a corporate Christian. I said, you don't even know what that means. That was 2 days ago. He hadn't replied back. This one fella said, because of our silence, the world celebrates when white men are victimized. I don't know if I can argue that or argue against it. And this is what I hate. This glib, this tongue-in-cheek, this coyness. People aren't celebrating an assassination. People are denying a claim for sympathy that's out of their own emotional network. Look.
What?
What if somebody would have assassinated the President Joe Biden? What would the liberal left say then? The problem is, it's not just people on the liberal left. It's people in the Church of Christ. I had a guy, I deleted our exchange, but I'm going to read you his initial comment, and this is from a member of the Lord's Church. He was a few years ago, he enrolled in one of the Brotherhood schools of preaching. I don't know if he graduated or not. But let me see if I can. Yeah, what about the men and women made in the image of God and who Christ died for that suffered needlessly as well as died needlessly as the result of CEOs like the one who got killed? Who is speaking up for them and shaming the insurance agencies who put profits and bonuses before people? What is wrong, Aaron, with the insurance companies putting profits and bonuses above people?
That's what businesses do.
What's morally wrong with it? I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's a business, dummy. Not you, dummy, but
That's what a purpose of a business is. I suppose they have this conflated idea that businesses are supposed to be giving away everything or something. I don't know, because at any level, when a business is selling a product or a service, somebody can say, well, it's not fair. It's too much.
Yeah, grocery stores.
It's too expensive. Well, it's only $1. Well, for some guys, $1 is too much in their mind.
Do you know how many people die homeless because rental property management companies don't give them homes? Do you know how many people die of starvation because grocery stores don't give them food? That's the argument.
Yeah.
And here's the thing.
It's like, it's not their jobs to give everybody. That's individual responsibilities to take care of these things.
Right. If you want a whole new appreciation for your health care in the United States, leave the United States.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got a good dose of it in the last, whatever, 4 years, I'm sure.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It is terrible. It's not free. It ain't even 100% subsidized from the Canadian government. The quote unquote free health care that Canadians have can be reproduced in the United States at the tune of about $300 a month. Do you understand how high Canada's taxes are on your income? You pay what a person making $1 million a year. Excuse me, a person making $100,000 a year sees a little bit less than 50% of that, or sees a little bit less than 50% of that. Think
Right.
about that. You're making $100,000 a year,
They get half.
and your paycheck is between $800 and $1,000.
And there's leaders in the United States that would have it that way here if they could do it.
I guarantee it. Now, the insurance, the medical system in the United States is freaking awesome. It is amazing. Is it perfect? No, there's no perfect system because you're using the insurance companies as a go-between between the service provider and the people needing service. The absolute best system to have is no insurance whatsoever and have the doctors and the patients negotiate the price of their services. But you know what would happen? A lot of people would die.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't be able to afford service. A lot more people would die than what would die now because a lot of people, because they have medical insurance, are able to afford care who would otherwise not be able to afford care. So my father has UnitedHealthcare. He was denied medication he needs for an illness he has. If he dies because he has refused medical care, he needs to survive. That's just life. Yes, it absolutely is just life. It's terrible. But your father's sick and he needs medicine. He doesn't have a right to kill somebody to get the medicine. And the policy of the insurance provider that he has, he can't get it there. But I guarantee you that medicine can be gotten. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be difficult. But yeah, it's just life. I'm sorry that your father is sick. Tell me, who do you get to murder in order to get your daddy some medicine? I'm sorry that you're hurting, but I'd like to know, who would it be okay for you to rob? I may have a whole bottle of the medicine that you need. Is it okay for you to kill me to get it? People don't understand.
That's what we're talking about here.
At what point did I argue murder was okay? Go build your straw man somewhere else. Nobody ever said, I'm not saying that you're saying murder is okay, but you right here in this, you're the one that did this. This don't look good on you. It's quite embarrassing. I'm very disappointed. So my father has UnitedHealthcare. He was denied medication he needs for an illness he has. If he dies because he has refused medical care, he needs to survive. That's just life. The answer to that is yes. You asked that question to hang me on the horns of a dilemma and to frame me to look bad. That's how argumentation works. This is not substantive. This doesn't mean anything. I'm sorry that your dad is sick. I don't want him to die. I hope he gets the medicine that he needs.
Amen.
And here's the thing. There is a barrier to entry for his medication. Go to your family, go to the church, go to the family, community, church, government, go to social media, get a GoFundMe. I guarantee you that he can get the medicine that he needs, or he can get some version of it, or something can be done to intervene in this situation if it is indeed as dire as you say. I don't know, man.
All we're saying is that this doesn't justify the kind of comments or the kind of behavior that you see that was taken
Yeah,
from the CEO. We're not saying that we're friends of insurance companies and we think everything they do is just wonderfully perfect, you know?
that's right.
That's not
But you just
that's not what we're, yeah,
you can't kill people over it.
right.
Yeah, I mean, here anyway. Insurance companies are for profit. They are. This is Hey Alabama. Insurance companies are a for-profit organization, and they don't care about you. They operate on fear to sell their. Oops, we jumped to sell their something, to sell their product. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good. At least we have that. I agree that the CEO never should have been murdered. Absolutely. That's it. He was innocent. An innocent man was murdered because a miscreant was ungrateful for all the medical care that he had received in the past. Think about all the people, for every one individual that misunderstood the system and made poor choices and died because of a lack of care, because the care that they needed was in a tier that they couldn't afford, which is, it's terrible. It's not good, but it's life. For every one person, you can find how many people who got life-saving medical care that wasn't normally covered, but their coverage was approved.
Because everybody ain't dying literally today or yesterday.
That's it.
A bunch of folks getting what they need.
That's it. All right. I may have missed something. I may have missed a comment that. Oh yeah, Connie Barton. One of God's commands. One of God's commands is do not murder. That's right. And yes, social media is driven by, our society is driven by memes. And so I second that and plus one it. No one should practice vigilante justice except Batman. I'm old enough to remember when no one held insurance and they got care and could afford it. It's a scam that we bought into, yes. Insurance is why medical care is so expensive. They now have a big pool of money to swim in, so they charge what they want to because, quote unquote, insurance will pay for it. That is true and a little bit not true at the same time. Let me explain. One of the reasons why medical care is so expensive is the same reason that college tuition is so expensive, is because the government has subsidized it. This comment from the previous comment from Hey Alabama, I'm old enough to remember when no one had insurance. Well, yeah, nobody had insurance, and you simply negotiated between the patient and the doctor what you could afford, you know. But now here's the thing, because I think a lot of times we look at rose-colored glasses. Back during those days when we didn't have any insurance, there were people dying from very easily treatable diseases. One of the reasons why we've had so much medical breakthrough is, yes, insurance is a subsidy. Yes, exactly. It's Hey Alabama, by the way. So one of the reasons why we've had so many breakthroughs in medical technology is because of this stinking pool of money that all these people are swimming in. And quite frankly, the government does subsidize certain research projects and stuff like that to advance the medical field. It's so what do? You know, do you want to go back to the way medicine was 200 years ago, but everybody got access to the same level of care? I don't want to go back to the way it was a couple hundred years ago. And I know Hey Alabama is not even remotely thinking about that.
She's just recalling a fact that she
Yeah.
remembers and lived under.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, and that's another thing. AA says that's one of the fears they sell you. You'll die. So there's a sense. I'm trying to be very balanced. There's a sense which we go back 200 years. Yeah, you're right, dummy. If you step on a nail and don't take care of it, you're going to die. Where today you just go get a tetanus shot.
Yeah.
But
Like
go ahead.
I just see some things as completely I see some things in the medical field as things that are completely legitimate that we need, that people
Yeah.
didn't have near as easy access to then that they do today.
Right.
And then there's things that are mixed in there with it, like you got to have this. You got to, and it's like, really? You
Yeah.
gotta have that? And
Yeah.
then they play with the price and they control,
Yep.
you can talk
Well,
about
that's
money and everything, but they make you feel like you got to have it. And in my opinion, it's some things you ain't got to have.
well.
But,
Along that lines, think about it. You know, my dad died of multiple myeloma. The last chapel speech that I preached at Memphis School of Preaching, we'd been called in the middle of the night, and Anthony was on a youth trip with Forest Hill. We made the call, say, "Hey man, we need to get him back. We gotta go. My dad's dying. It's it." Well, I preached that morning for my chapel speech. And I said, "Brethren, I want you to lay siege to the throne of heaven on behalf of my dad as he lay dying. Do not pray for him to get better. Pray for the ease of his passing." I think a lot of these folks, and I'm not saying that the person in our listening audience today is one, but I'm saying a lot of these folks who say, well, my loved one died because he didn't get the life-saving medication he needed. Your loved one was circling the drain. And this life-saving medical attention that could have extended her life another 3 months would have cost $400,000. And she would have got 3 months of hell. The only reason you wanted to get the procedures because you're selfish. Let her go. I don't think we're healthy about death. Now, before somebody leaves the show and says, Tony thinks it's better for everybody to die instead of go get medicine, it's not what I'm saying. But there's something about quality of life. Do you want to live 500 years if for 400 of those years you're an invalid?
No, absolutely.
Would you want to live 500 years if for 400 of those years you was brain addled?
We know the answer to that.
Exactly. And that's not even counting being in pain, debilitating pain. I've got issues with my joints and my ankles and my knees from when I was training horses. Being fat exacerbates it, but if I weighed 190 pounds, I'd still have issues in my joints, my knees, and my feet because of training horses. It hurts. I'm hurting today. I'm not dressed in normal clothes from the waist down because I can't walk. I can hobble from one solid surface to another, and I've got about another 48 hours. And I tell you what happened. I was sitting crisscross applesauce on the edge of the bed talking to my wife. And one foot was on the floor, one leg was folded under on the bed, and all I did was shift because so I could see her more clearly, and I knew it was going to give me about a week of being unable to walk. That's hard on me.
Yeah.
That's hard on me. And during the height of a gout flare-up, you could talk me in, I think, to amputation.
It's rough.
During the height of a gout flare-up.
I mean, just bad.
And even with that, I'm like, I don't know if I want to live another 40 years like this. You know?
You're just saying that need to be brought into the conversation. Like,
Yeah.
society, as a society, our society does not think correctly or healthy about death.
No.
Certainly the people away from God don't, because they don't have,
Yeah. There's this trope sometimes makes it into adult animation. I'm not talking about pornography. I'm talking about animation that's for adults. It is a little raunchy from time to time. I'm talking about your Family Guy, your American Dad, South Park, some of those,
Yeah.
The Simpsons. That's adult. What animation? I couldn't think of the
Animation.
word. And it's always a dog or a cat that's well beyond their years, and oh, this is Foofy, and we love Foofy. Look how excited he gets. And this old dog on this walker with these wheels, and he goes outside to quote unquote make, and just a puff of smoke comes out. And like the dog's hating life and this, that, and the other, but this woman is just like, oh, well, look how lively and vivacious he is. We love Foofy. I'm like, man, you need to take that dog to the vet, put it out of its misery.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you need to do that to your loved ones, but somebody put quantity over quality. Brandon Wild, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't want to live for 500 years. If for 400 of them, I can't enjoy life. That's what some end of life caregivers say. Selfish people let their loved ones linger in excruciating pain because they don't want to let them go. They're just laying there knowing nothing.
That's
Yes.
rough.
Yes. Yeah, and I've sat with some of those hospice people, and I've seen the people pass. Look, man, their bodies can't. If you could give them a magic injection that gave them 10 more years, but all it did was just kept them alive for 10 more years. In other words, it just bound their spirit, bound their soul and their body together.
They
Okay,
wouldn't be happy.
you could give them 10 more years, but that's all that happened. You didn't give them anything else, then they would just be laying there. They'd be like a vegetable. Why, if your loved one is right with God, you need to be a little self-sacrifice and be like, look, you need to go. I told my dad that.
Yeah.
Now he held on for like 3 months, but that man was laying there in that hospital in Paducah, Kentucky, covered from his head to his toes in shingles. Just his nerves would fire off every once in a while. He'd do this. He cleared the room. He could barely talk. We finally understood. He wanted me to pray. Then he prayed. And then we thought that evening he'd pass. I think he was trying to live long enough to see me graduate, Aaron.
Yeah.
He didn't
probably
make
was
it.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't make it. But my point is,
So did he go that night, or you said he didn't?
no, 3 months later,
3 months later.
he almost, I lied. I'm sorry. About 2.5 months later, I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look at the dates.
Yeah.
But he missed my graduation just by a few weeks.
Oh man. Yeah. That's probably what. Surely that's what he was holding out for.
I think it's what goes. Oh, I forgot why I told the story. It was just me and him because some of my family members was like, be strong, hold on. It was just me and him. I said, look, you understand you can go now.
Yeah.
I even asked him, I said, if you want me to, I'll start pulling some of this machinery. Nothing was keeping him alive. Okay. But I told him I'd start pulling plugs.
I guess people mean well when they say, be strong, hold on, but it implies like you're weak if you go on.
I know.
Especially,
Look here, man.
you know,
My daddy was ready for paradise.
yeah.
I was like, look, why are you sticking around here? I mean, the most I can do is sit here and watch your nerves fire because of these shingles, and I can watch you in pain. I can watch that little heart deal whenever your nerves fire, go dook, dook, dook. You know?
It's mighty peculiar how there can be when a child of God is in pain and they're close to death, and you talk to them, you pray with them, they believe they're right with God, they're in Christ, and then 24 hours later, 48 hours later, they're gone. Some of the family thought they was going to hang on. They never know how long Daddy will be here.
I know.
I prayed with a fella this past Friday. Sunday morning at 4 a.m., I got a text.
Passed away.
Yep. And I didn't know him very well because he came into my circle of influence not very long ago, and he already had bad health, and his appearances were very limited because of his health.
Yeah.
Liver cancer spread around, all that stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
God, I know he was in Christ, and the little I've heard, I mean, as far as I know, he walked in the light. I prayed with
Yeah.
the guy, and just prayed for comfort, peace, and strength, and that he would be faithful to the Lord. And
That's it.
just he's God
Absolutely.
Sunday morning. That's just crazy.
Terry Crooks is coming in clutch here with these comments. This will bring us full circle. Terry, I may actually skip the comments that you just made, depending on what come in, but we're going to end the show. And Aaron, if I forget,
Okay.
we need to end the show with Terry's comments, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So, Terry, I'm going to ignore. That's a lie. I'm not ignoring your comments because I'm talking about them.
Not gonna read yet.
We're not going to read them right now. We're going to get them whenever we get to your comments here, that's going to be the last thing we do. All right. Jason, I'm glad you put this up. What in the world?
Yeah, we've had a lot of
Oh, okay. Wow. Where's that? Is that the one?
You mean
Yeah.
get it?
Futurama.
You mean put
Aaron,
it
have
up?
you ever watched Future? Do what?
You mean to,
No, I got it now.
Okay, I see it now. It's delayed. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. So, have you ever watched Futurama?
No.
I love it.
Futurama.
Aaron, I love it. I started watching Futurama in 99 when it came, or 2000. I remember in Martin, Tennessee, me and my wife in that little deal watching. I was like, LaBeth, what is this? It looks like the Simpsons, but it's not. And it was Futurama. And I watched the first episode. I was hooked. And then now it's on, in the United States, it's on Hulu. In Canada, it's on Disney Plus. Incidentally, everything that you get on Hulu in the United States, I get on Disney Plus in Canada. But Hulu won't even work on my phone in Canada. Also, I was informed that multiple bottles of United States A1 are coming to me.
Cool.
But with the strike for the Canadian Post, we have no idea when they will get here. They were supposed to come as a surprise.
4 or 5 years ago. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
When you
they
first
sent them
moved
back
there.
in 19. Yeah.
Or-
As the man was watching the first episode of Futurama, he smelled. Anyway, so Futurama, love Futurama. There is probably the Mount Rushmore of Futurama episodes would be Jurassic Bark. That's the title of the episode. My suggestion, I was going to tell you, if you don't know Futurama, go watch Jurassic Bark. Don't do that. Just go watch Futurama. It's cleaner than The Simpsons. I will tell you that.
Yeah.
It is.
I need to look into it.
It is a piece of contemporary entertainment that you need to be aware of that might use some very rarely use some language you don't approve of. Anyway, watch at your own risk. Futurama had an episode about a frozen dog from the early 21st century. In the year 3000, the dog's owner wanted to unfreeze him, but then realizes that the dog led a full life and now he should rest. Like, we understand this concept.
Yeah.
The song by Vince Gill. I know your life on earth was troubled.
Yep.
And then what's the hook? Go rest high on that mountain. That's it.
And the line right before that, and only you could know the pain. Like,
That's right.
But we're like, be strong. Stay with us. Stay with us, Daddy.
Like, no, I'm suffering stuff. Think
I
about
get-
Lazarus.
We can get why people say stay strong and be here. They
Absolutely.
want it, but you got
We're not-
to examine it by not being selfish. Because your
Yes.
loved one is hurting. And in
Yes.
my that's my life. I say life story. One of my stories of life is my grandmother. I was pretty close to her.
Excuse me.
She was a Christian. She was in Christ, the last 2 years of her life was just constantly back and forth to the hospital, and got to where she always had the pick line on the little pole, getting nutrients.
Oh,
Got down, and now that I look at it, and I understand it's a tender subject with anybody, and my granddaddy's still alive. I know it's tender to him too, but my mom, me, we all wanted her here. But then finally, I think we all started realizing, and I did too. Maybe I did before them. I don't know. I think I
yeah.
might have, but the last times I was able to talk to her, it was just like, Grandmother, are you ready to go? I mean, prepared. And she said, yeah, I think so. I was like, is there anything I can do for you? You know, th- just help you along. And she's like, I just don't know of anything. I believe I'm right. And she said, of course you can pray with me, just comfort and everything, and I prayed, this is very intimate, but I prayed that, um, whatever was best would happen, whatever was
Yeah.
best for her, that she would just, and at that time too, I didn't know maybe that the end was in sight right within a few months or less. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I just prayed that if it was possible, she might get better, but that I knew God knew best, and I knew she was in pain and misery. So, kind of after that last time that I was with her, and I prayed that, my granddaddy was in the room too. He later asked me, "Why did you pray if it was possible?" I was like, "Well, it may not be possible within God's providential will for her to continue on." And I said, "The more I think about it, she is miserable." But anyhow, after that point, that's kind of like my last time I prayed that she would live. And so I guess, I don't remember now the timeline, but several times after that, I just started praying she would go on, you know.
Yeah.
And it
Did you
worked
do
out,
that privately or publicly?
yeah, privately,
That's what I
mainly.
figured.
Yeah. And it just, what kind of weird, crazy about it was I lived about, an hour and 10 minutes from the hospital where she was. And they said, if you want to see her, you can come on, because she's dying, she's dying. So I went over there, and I didn't go like a crazy bat, but I drove and was on the interstate, and it's weird how it worked out. I walked in just seconds after she took her last breath, and I went in. Of course, we were all teared up, and then I said, let's rejoice, So we started crying happy tears and hugging each other. I said, she's released of that, I didn't want to see her like that anymore. It's hard to let go, but if we'll try to see it from their perspective, and we'll listen to the doctors, and we listen to her, she didn't think she was going to keep going.
Yeah.
It was obvious. Visually, you could see she was a little toothpick. I mean, it was a terrible way of life. My little brother was there. I've been saying that for a while. She needs to go on,
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. It's difficult, man. Let me get this. I just noticed this comment. Let me grab this real quick, Aaron, and
a lot
then
of good stuff.
I apologize. My previous comment came off as an attack on you. It was not my purpose. I just did a bad job. I better understand what you're saying. I allowed my emotions to get the best of me. It's apology accepted. It's a highly emotional topic. There are here's I think Andrew coming on. Here's the problem with the topic inherently. There's two opposing sides that are both equally valid. I want my loved one to stay. My loved one's so hurting they want to go. Yeah. What do you do here? It's so yeah. That's why this side's pulling this way, this side's pulling this way. So in here where the friction is, that's where people live.
And even like with the whole insurance stuff, I'm not a friend of the insurance companies. I don't work for one. I don't even have any immediate family members that do. I see like these comments that have been made by like Hey Alabama and some others. I see the corruptions just like in all businesses. There are corruptions that take place, and we would just say just outright taking advantage of people because they have a monopoly. What you can talk about all those things, but the point still stands. The CEO was an innocent man. He didn't deserve to be murdered. And it's sad that our society, it shows the signs of a morally destitute society when people are praising that death like that's some kind of justice.
Yeah.
it's not any kind of justice. It's
Makes the world
it's
makes the world a
immorality.
worse place.
It does. It's immorality and depravity is what it is. It's not any shape, form, or fashion of
And
justice.
I want to showcase Connie's comment. You know, the Bible says, weep at birth and rejoice at death. Speaking of a Christian, of course. And the answer is yes. You know, and I know Connie going back years. Connie is not saying this with no nuance. You know, she's not saying you need to go to the graveside and cheer as the coffin is lowered.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to be sad.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Contrary to popular belief, of most men, including myself, you can experience two emotions at one time.
Yeah.
Like I don't like it. I like my emotions to come one at a time.
Yeah.
But you can experience something that's bittersweet.
That's
You
like
know.
my grandmother dying. I walked in within
Yeah.
seconds. She just went. I said, when? He's like, just seconds, just a few seconds.
Praise God.
I was so sad in the moment that I missed her.
know.
Oh, I missed her. But then I was praising God and saying, we need to rejoice. That's the way we're going to we're going to endure this, is to rejoice.
You could craft a scenario where you could walk in and say, oh no, grandmama, well, she just passed. You could go, praise God. Like you could have that bubbles up from sadness, but then a smile that creeps and tears running down while you're saying praise God.
It's kind of weird, for lack of better words, to feel all that in one.
I only want my emotions to come one at a time.
Yeah.
Lord, don't make it to where that's impossible or something. You said, what I mean is, God set human beings up the way that he got them set up. And even though I don't like experiencing two emotions at once, I don't want God to make it to where I only experience one emotion at once.
Yeah.
Because I trust the way God set it up.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
All right. This world is not my home.
We struggle
Angie
in our
B.
weaknesses. We struggle in our weaknesses and our ignorance too.
That's it. That's it. All right. This work. Okay, excuse me. Hold on. What am I doing here, Aaron? Yeah, I gave my parents my blessings to let go when I realized that I was being selfish, wanting them to hang on. And Angie, now that I've read this out loud and I've quote unquote heard somebody else say it, I'm going to mitigate the word selfish here because we've been using it a lot. I don't mean selfish like I'm hungry, you got plenty of food, and you won't give me any.
Right.
I mean selfish like God put it within ourselves to want to preserve life. It is, we want to preserve our own life, and we want to preserve the life of others.
Yeah, being selfish and not giving to someone when you have the ability, that's sinful. That's selfish.
Yeah.
Straight up selfish. But
being selfish and preserving your own life and preserving the life of others and having that innate desire,
that's part of the matrix that God made. That's the way God set it up.
It's godly. Godly.
There's a balance there. Because when you see a person they're just going down, and they're hurting, all they do is just live on morphine or whatever, and,
We missed a lot of comments. Hold on.
There are a lot of comments.
This reminds me of one of the members here. He has a form of cancer that affects his brain. His request is not that he be healed, but that he be able to continue to communicate in an intelligible fashion until he passes. Man, yeah. Oh, dude. I don't like to do it often, so I don't. But sometimes I think about what it would be like if I had this fantasy series that I read, one of the characters has to give up half the light of the world in order to save the world. Spoiler alert, I'm going to tell you what that light is. He loses an eye.
Mm.
And he did it cold. Like he agreed to it knowing that it was going to happen. It wasn't in the heat of the moment. It wasn't in a battle where he got whacked in the head.
Right.
He stood 10 toes forward, chest out, and says, I agree, take it. Why did I say that, Aaron? Oh, yeah, because of that. It's like, what would I do if I had to go through this world with no eyes? What would I do if I had? I think I would rather not have eyes. Or excuse me. I think I would rather not have ears than have eyes. Vice versa. Hold on. I'm.
No, I think you said it right. You'd rather have eyes than ears, basically.
Yes. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think because it to seeing, man. Anyway, that's not the
It's like
podcast.
everything. Yep.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, absolutely. In fact, what if this Andrew's comment there just gave me a thought, Aaron? Do you think there would be a utility in visiting dying people more? Now that's we need to flesh that out. I don't know exactly what I mean by that. It's just it's literally almost an impulsive thought. What do you think?
Probably so.
It'd
That's
be
just
awful weird for the dying person
But just to be with them or to help, just to,
to talk to them while they die. What are you going through?
yeah,
What are you feeling?
just to learn.
Yeah. You may find out. I mean, look,
Some people just see you as a creep doing that, but
exactly. Well, I'm asking a rhetorical question, but I'd like people to hear you answer it. What was the final enemy that was to be defeated, that was defeated by Christ?
death
Exactly.
and the resurrection.
Now, O grave, where is thy...
Sting.
We should not greet death casually as an old friend. Death is something of Satan.
Yep.
That being said, it is a fact of life, so I think we need to familiarize ourselves with it as a society, not ostracize the dying so much and the people who deal with death so much. I mean, because quite frankly, don't you get a little bit of the heebie-jeebies when you meet somebody new and you find out they're a mortician?
I guess. I don't think about it a whole lot, I guess.
Well, I haven't met a mortician in my adulthood.
There aren't many morticians these days. It's just
Well,
funeral directors that, but
Well, with the exception of meeting morticians and funeral directors professionally, I haven't met. In other words, I ain't just met somebody off the street. A kid on the street that I grew up with on Treese Road, his name's Alan Edmiston, and he has the Edmiston Mosley Funeral Home in Union City, Tennessee. I always kind of got the heebie-jeebies whenever he was probably about 10 years older than me, so I was still in high school whenever he started his funeral business. But I was just like,
heebie about being around them. But when I go back home and think about what they're doing, it kind of gives me the heebie.
yeah, I think
Do that
so.
all the time,
Yeah. So anyway, I think we're supposed to be a little bit standoffish with death, is what I'm saying. But would there be a utility in talking to the dead and the dying, the dying, and those who work with death?
Right there, you go.
I don't.
Somebody clip that, Tony.
I get yeah.
They believe in talking to the dead.
Yeah, Tony's not a necromancer. What was the witch of Endor? She is a familiar spirit.
Familiar. Oh, okay.
Tony says we all need to get familiar spirits. No, I don't. Tony just got tongue tied. All right, where are we at? I want to end the podcast with Terry's comments. Yeah, okay. So this takes us back. So we got Gold Traps with Futurama, and then I want to get Mammoth Spring Church of Christ. This is Barry Odell. Something to consider here. 3,500 years ago, Moses said we have 70 to 80 years, but modern culture inundates us with anti-aging ads and products to extend our lives here. Christians can buy into the lie that we should stay forever. Yeah, absolutely.
And generally, we haven't really extended, like on average, the length of life a whole lot. We really haven't.
Aaron, I don't think we've extended it any.
I don't think we have either. I was being too conservative. That's not.
What does David? Was it David that said, "A man lives blank blank, and if he really is careful, he can add blank."
I think that was the passage he was referring to, Barry.
Was that Moses that said it?
Yeah, it was Psalm 90, where people say that Moses wrote it.
Oh, that's right. That is a song. Oh, would you read it there?
Let's see here. Psalm 90, I just got it. Verse 9. For all our days have passed away in your wrath. We finish our years like a sigh. The days of our lives are 70 years. And if by reason of strength they are 80 years, yet their boast is only labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off and we fly away.
Tony, don't do numbers good. All right? Don't do grammar good either. I was thinking, so I'm gonna concede my point here and say we have extended our life. We're now 120 years. I think there are people that I think we are starting to see more people hit north of the 103 and 4s anyway.
Yeah, and
I
I was
could be
just
wrong.
saying, like, as an average, like, it's still the average lifespan is, I think male is like, what, 77? Or
Now that
female,
you say that,
it's like
I think
77,
I'm gonna
78 females, 73, 70. Yeah, there are people that extend on out to 104, 110, maybe, but most of those are not even in the United States because
no,
we
yeah,
junk the United States.
dude. In 2021, the global life expectancy for the average woman is 73.8 years.
Yeah.
Men are 68.4. Now, when you take that down to the United States,
Yeah, what does that say? Tony, I don't know what's going on. I can hear you, but you're frozen on my end.
oh, it's because I'm off of the.
Okay. Okay, there we go. I got you back now.
Yeah, look. We're gonna be cooking with hot butter here. Hold on. How do I get? I want to pop this window out. Move to a new window.
You know, Tony, I want to go back for a second to the comment that was made earlier. Social media is driven by memes these days. And I remember you saying, yeah. It's like, what does that mean about us as a society? That we're driven by memes. Can you hear me? You coming back? Because all I can see is me now. Me, myself, and I. I guess he's going to try to come back in. Ton of good comments here. See what I can do. Rusty Kirby, I saw your comment. I heard someone suggest that after their Christian grandmother had passed in the room, they were sitting in weeping. We had a thought, the angels were just here. Yeah. Yeah, that's an incredible thought when you think about what Jesus taught about what happens at death with the righteous. Luke 16. I see you.
Good grief.
Comment. There's several great documentaries on YouTube. You all about some documentaries, aren't you, brother? Dying in the death process. I need to check that out. He said, I think the best was a PBS Frontline. Very insightful. You gonna come back in now? Angie B. Parents were both on their deathbeds and were faithful, sweet Christians, made their deaths easier. My mom always said she was afraid to die alone. That's a good comment.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. If your video went away, it was there, and then you're back gone again. Now it's
Well,
coming.
I
Yeah.
can see me, but I am frozen.
Yeah, you are frozen, but I can hear you. I've just read 3 comments while you were not the ones we're
Gotcha.
saving to the end, but
This is nuts.
yeah.
Why am I? Bid you?
Yeah, I was trying to ask you a question when it just went out.
Yeah. What happened is when I popped our studio out of the window, something came undone. So I'm going to be here then, I guess, without
Video.
without video.
I'm just commenting on a few of the comments. I read 3 of them already. I can keep up with that if you want me to, but I saw also I like these comments by Angie B saying I was present, when my parents died and other friends, and I was so glad I could give comfort.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, I would. If I got lined, if I was lined up to die, in the sense of I kind of knew it was coming and I was in the hospital, I sure would appreciate, my loved ones being there with me. I really would.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even mind them singing a few psalms and hymns, to be honest with you. I'd like to hear that when I was about to pass over, to be honest with you.
So one of the dude, I don't. It's just frozen. It's not going to work.
I also, Andrew said, Paul told the Thessalonians to find comfort in the death of faithful Christians as the resurrection was coming. Yeah, I love 1 Thessalonians 4, how he said, and so comfort one another with these words. He describes a lot,
Yeah.
that's going to happen when Jesus appears. And at the end, he's like, the point is, y'all need to comfort each other with this. If you get
That's
anything
it.
out of this, you need to have comfort.
You will. Okay. I just got to be done. You're going to see your loved ones again. I'm adopted. I've got 2 dads. Both have passed on. One went to Hades, the torment side. The other went to Hades, the paradise side. I ain't got much comfort for the one.
Yeah.
But the other, man, I'm looking forward to seeing him. If I know if I live right, I will.
Amen.
Guess which one was harder on me when they passed?
Yep. One that didn't go to the right compartment.
That's right.
You could wish you were wrong, but if you knew, if you knew
I guarantee
otherwise,
it.
no, you can wish all day, but if they weren't,
Makes transplant helpers says I don't think we extended it much. It just during wartime, just during times of the Depression and war, the numbers went way down. We have only restored them. That's
I think
very,
that's,
very possible.
yeah, I think that's a big factor. That I read Rusty Kirby's comment, also transplant helper on about the documentaries. Angie B about her parents. I was just kind of catching you up to speed there.
Yeah. Hey, let me give you this stat. I look. I know that everybody has horror stories about loved ones dying. Everybody has horror stories about the insurance company. And if the stakes of the insurance company wasn't any more severe than the stakes of calling Comcast or Dish Network, everybody would still have horror stories. But people die associated with the horror stories of the insurance company. But that being said, I want to give you a stat here that you should interpret as you need to be very grateful for your medical system in the United States.
Accessibilities.
Well, in the United States, the average life expectancy for women is higher than men,
Yeah.
just like throughout the world. Do you remember what the average life expectancy for women were?
I think you said 77. I thought.
Thereabouts.
Yeah.
What about men?
You said 68, I thought.
Abouts.
I think that number's gone down in the last 20 years in the United States. If I recall correctly, They used to, I could
It's
have
gone
sworn,
up.
I could have sworn the number on men have gone down though. They used to say like 77 and 73. That's what I thought.
The as of 2021,
I may be remembering it wrong.
the average life expectancy for women is 80.2 years. The average life expectancy for men is 74.8.
There you go. There you go.
The difference is called the longevity gap. In 2021, the gap was 5.8 years, the largest it's been since 1996. The pandemic is considered to be the biggest contributor to the widening gap. Other factors may contribute to the gap include unintentional injuries and poisonings, accidents, self-offing, chronic metabolic disorders, mental illness, gun violence, social factors such as risk exposure at work. The disparity between men and women is also higher for Black Americans than it is for white Americans. For example, the life expectancy for African American men was 61.5, nearly 8 years shorter than for African American women. So African American men and women come in below the average life expectancy of the world, and also below the average life expectancy for the total of the United States.
Yeah.
I wonder why that is. I wonder, socioeconomic would have an issue there. There's some contributing health factors to the African American population in the United States. And quite frankly, there was stuff that happened to them in the past that makes them adverse to listening to doctors. So, yeah, makes sense to me.
Connie Barton said, I think people are living longer than the current stats. I don't
Yes,
Maybe so.
they are. Many people are. The stats are average.
Yeah, they're averages, surely.
Yeah, and you've also got, plus this is 2021, it's the 2025 now. All right.
You jumping us on into 2025, aren't you?
Yeah, well, we might as well be 20. Yeah, we do. We do. All right. Let me.
You want to go back to those comments? You wanted to save to the
I
end?
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let me make sure we get any. Hey, Alabama, that seems to be when we have the lowest life expectancy. She's telling a transplant helper. A lot of people live to be 100 or more. Yeah, so and that's the thing people don't understand with stats. If you have, let's say 10%, no, let's say 5% of people in the United States of America live to be above 100. Bear with me. 5% of a population, 1 in 5 is the same. To calculate the percentage, you can quickly multiply the fraction by 100 and add a percent sign. For example, 1 in 5. No. Of the USA. Google is trying, instead of searching Google, it's bringing up their AI. I just want to know what 5% of the population is for the United States.
Currently?
Yeah. Why is it doing this? Hold on. I missed. This is convoluted. All right. Bear with me. What is the...
Chat says it's 17 million something.
Yeah, that's good.
17.3 something. 17 million.
Wait, it wouldn't be 17 million. That's 3.8 million. Hold on. No. That's wrong too.
Yeah, if the current population is around 346 million, 5% would be about 17 million.
Oh, not 34. If it's 34 million, 17% would be above 50%.
No, 346 million. not 34 million.
Oh,
46,280,515. That's just something from chat. I just
yeah, that's
click
right. So,
here for sources, you know. But
so 33339, 339. All right.
about 17 million would be 5%.
Yeah.
Where were you going with that? I'm sorry, I'm lost. I got 80.
All right. So think about this. I'm gonna get back here. Connie says, I think people are living longer than the current stats. If only 5% of Americans were living longer than the current stats, that's still 17 million Americans.
It's a lot of folks.
That's a lot of folks.
Yeah, it is. That's like
And
roughly 17 million folks that live to be 90,
spread out,
95, 100,
spread
105.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
that's why stats are so misleading to people because, like, well, not to pour lemon juice in a wound, but the FBI statistics on violent encounters between police officers and unarmed black men. Like in 2019, there were 9 people.
Wow.
But the way our society comes across, I see it all the time. The reason you see it all the time is because it is spectacularized
Yeah.
in
It's
social media.
Talked about
Yeah.
basically all the time.
Yeah, because you see it everywhere, you think it's everywhere.
Yep.
And I'm not saying, no, Connie, you're deluded. I'm just saying there's a reason why we feel this way.
Right. Yep.
Because I was like, I think loads of people are living to 120 now. They're not. They're
Not
still,
low, but maybe as a whole, a higher percent is.
Well, exactly.
That's what
Exactly. All right, Aaron, let's shut her down. Are you ready? Let's
Yeah.
go back to get these comments with Terry Crooks. I wanted to end the show on these. So here's one. This man, this Luigi Mangione or whatever, this man's better off than most people. He and his family are highly educated with top businesses and substantial wealth. Why didn't he allow his wealthy father, uncle, and grandfather to help with his medical bills? If he is that upset, he should have asked his family to help him create a new insurance company that would cover everyone's medical claims. Now, that sounds like a tongue-in-cheek comment, but this guy was from a well-off family. He was connected, like way connected. So I think there's something going on here that doesn't meet the eye.
Surely that's why people don't like him. Just average people. People are jealous. He has money. He's rich.
No, the assassin.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was thinking about the CEO. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the CEO's obviously well off, but the assassin, is.
Yeah. Yep.
The assassin has money.
Highly educated, top business people.
Comes from a wealthy family. What was the purpose? What medical procedure was out of reach for him?
Hey,
He could have flown.
Are they reporting that part of his motivation was because he couldn't afford something or couldn't have something done?
Yeah, it's in it. Well, yes, that's what
I
everybody's saying.
Yeah, I just hadn't seen anything. Yeah, been off the grid on that part of it. Why didn't he? That's why Terry would say that. Why didn't he allow his father, uncle, and others that had the money, help him with them?
All right, so here is Luigi Mangione's manifesto.
Because he felt justified in killing him. That's why.
Yeah.
They gave him what he thought was justification to murder.
And he was arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania, not too far from me. All right. So here's Luigi Mangione's manifesto. To the feds, I'll keep this short because I do respect what you do for our country. To save you a lengthy investigation, I state plainly that I wasn't working with anyone. This was fairly trivial, some elementary social engineering, basic CAD, and a lot of patience. The spiral notebook, if present, has some struggling notes and to-do lists that illuminate the gist of it. My tech is pretty locked down because I work in engineering, So probably not much info there. I do apologize for any strife and trauma, but it had to be done.
That's what the killer said. Why?
Yep. Basic CAD. I don't know what CAD is. Oh, computer aided design. Some basic CAD.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, that was his. So nobody knows why. Hello, Jenny Blackwell. It's good to see you. But yeah, nobody knows why for real this man did it. There's all kinds of speculation. There's even one report said that one of his neighbors said that he was an incel because of some botched medical procedures or something. And I'm like, how would you know he's an incel? Do you know what an incel is? An incel is an involuntarily celibate individual.
Oh.
So somebody that either is impotent medically or they just don't have enough game to get with a woman or a man, depending on their preference.
But it's involuntary, you said.
Yeah, well, like I want to have sex with people, but people don't want to have sex with me. That's the idea.
Oh, okay.
But according to what I've heard, this Luigi Mangione was an incel because of some medical issues. Well, how's that the insurance company's fault? Like, what the insurance company can't. If this were a homeless individual, if this were a person who didn't have any money, if this were a person of somebody of my financial level, I'd be like, yeah, that dude probably got mad because he got turned down for some, or didn't get paid. His insurance company didn't pay like he wanted to, so he assassinated him. I can understand that because there would be medical procedures that is not in his tier to be able to afford that he would have access to. So then I understand that. But if I had enough money, it's almost like shoplifting when you got enough money in your pocket to buy what you've shoplifted. You're doing it for the thrill at that point. So that's what I'm thinking about this Luigi Mangione. If he had the money, if he had the means to get any kind of medical stuff possible, then why did he shoot this guy?
Yeah.
But if he shot this guy because the insurance company did something and caused a botched medical procedure, I don't know, man. I don't want to say, because I don't know, I don't have enough information. I don't want to say he just executed him for the thrill of it. That's sinful to say because we don't know.
Just makes you wonder if that,
Well, there was another comment that I feel like I've missed, but talked about we don't know the whole story. And whoever said that, you are 100% correct.
Right, absolutely.
We don't know the whole story.
Nope.
Anyway, do you have anything else to add? I so appreciate the comments. I appreciate, I ain't going to draw any attention to anything. I just appreciate the comments. You got anything else to say?
No, I'm same with you. I really appreciate this was obviously something that people wanted to hear and wanted to talk about and wanted to comment on. We really appreciate you commenting on it because it really adds to the show. It makes it like we really feel like we're interacting with our supporters in our audience.
Our audience.
Yeah, it's great just to have all these comments. Thank you so much,
folks. I feel weird because I ain't represented on the screen.
I know, and I feel weird just kind of looking at myself. I'm just kind of staring at the comments every now and then. Can you see me?
I can see you. I guess what we could do is
you could put up your little.
We could have done this.
You could have put up your little picture, your bobblehead or whatever it is. Yeah.
I could have.
Yeah.
I don't. It would cover both of us. I couldn't do it. It'd cover both of us.
Yeah.
That I don't have it on right now. It's not uploaded.
I need a bobblehead of me. We put me in on there,
Well, did I ever tell you the story about how I got that?
I can't remember. I don't think you did.
This guy, Tracy Latham, I'm not even sure if we're friends on Facebook anymore. I grew up knowing him and knowing his granddaddy, Lee Latham. Members of the church, long time. And Lee is always been an entertainer. I mean, Tracy has always been an entertainer. Lee was an entertainer too, but Tracy's always been an entertainer. And he play any instrument that's got strings. I think he can play it. I bet he could play the harp if you give him a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also a caricature artist and does birthday parties and events and stuff like that. And he was getting into something new, which is digital caricatures.
Cool.
And he just, out of the people on his friends list, he just said, I just picked some that I thought would be interesting to draw. And he said, if you're tagged in the post, these are yours to have, to do with as you please. And lo and behold, I was one.
Cool.
So little does he know, I would pay him to do another one of you. Or I'd pay him to do one of, like, he would have to take a picture of you and a picture of me, and then he would have to imagine it and, like, put us on a podcasting desk or something.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
If any of you folks listening know characters or digital caricature, maybe y'all could do that. Or I mean, we I don't expect it for free. When I say maybe you could do that, reach out and I'll see if we can afford to get her done.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We need that.
Yeah, I think it's cool. First off, it would be really cool because when I do the thumbnails for videos that you do, I would use mine. And when I make thumbnails, when I do thumbnails for videos that you do, I would read yours.
You
and
when I make for the
exactly confuse the dickens out of people.
Yeah.
But anyway, you see what I mean, though. I could put our respective likenesses.
Right. Yeah.
All right, guys. Look, this has helped me. I did not realize how I was feeling about this and how I was feeling in my body. I feel better now, having talked about this and having talked through this. Aaron, I'm sure that on a scale of 1 to 10, this show was about a 3 for you. I appreciate you being here for me.
No, it's higher than that. I enjoyed it, and it's good. It's a needed. It's certainly timely. That's for sure. This is what is all in people's faces right now, and it's something that happens a lot, unfortunately. But
yep.
Yeah. No, it was good.
I got something that I'm kind of developing. That I thought that I might do some of this for the podcast today, but I think I'm going to keep it. Hold on a second.
I think the only thing that was a 3 was you going to no video. That was the only thing.
Ain't that the truth?
3, but other than that, it was higher than that, for sure.
So, what would be the signs of a society in moral degradation? The rejection of absolute truth, the celebration of sin, the breakdown of the family, the devaluation of human life, the idolization of self, the loss of justice and integrity, the marginalization of the church, entertainment culture, and a lack of discernment.
Send me that. I need to preach it and send me a bill. Then I'll. That would be a good topical sermon, and the conclusion could be like out of this world. Like, y'all just heard how negative that is. Well, I know about a message that changes everything.
Yeah. Well, let me read you the path to restoration. While the signs of a moral decline are undeniable, the solution lies in returning to God's word as the ultimate standard. Societies thrive when they uphold righteousness. Righteousness exalteth the nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. Proverbs 14:34. The church must fulfill its role as the pillar and ground of the truth. 1 Timothy 3:15. Boldly proclaiming the gospel and calling for repentance. We need to emphasize the lasting transformation does not come through political reform or social activism, but alone. I misread my own stupid sentence. No, sentence not stupid. I made it stupid by misreading it. All right. We need to emphasize that lasting transformation does not come through political reform or social activism alone, but through hearts surrendered to God. In a society filled with moral confusion, Christians must stand as the light of the world, Matthew 5:14, demonstrating holiness, truth, and love without compromise. The moral decline will continue unless individuals and nations humble themselves, repent, and seek God's face. 2 Chronicles 7:14.
Yep.
I think we can end there.
Yeah, good stuff.
And I'll send you that. All right. God bless every one of you. remember the stuff. We need your support. Go to the show notes, Substack, PayPal, send us check or money order. Just we'd love to expand more. I've learned so much in the last few weeks. I've been really hitting the books, doing some research, and about the first of the year, I'm going to start putting some of these practices into place. They've already been in place a little bit. We've grown by 3,000 followers on our YouTube, and it's just going to keep getting better from there. And it's because of you, our monetary supporters, and because of you, our supporters that like, subscribe, and share. So whatever platform you're on, please do that. And that's all we've got. God bless every one of you. Thank you so much, Aaron.
Yes,
thank you to your listeners. God bless you. And this has been Tony Brewer with Christianity Now. I don't even think we introduced it.
Tony Brewer.
I don't even think we. Yeah. Anyway, that's all we got. God bless you. And we'll catch you on